Staff at NatWest and the Royal Bank of Scotland have been routinely trained to use Tipex and forged signatures to defraud business customers out of millions of pounds, according to explosive whistleblower reports in a story on page 6 of today's Scottish Mail on Sunday. Please share this story if you can, because even though all the people mentioned and quoted in it are English and not Scottish, the English Mail on Sunday has refused to run it. When I say refuse, I mean there's no URL, there's no web page, it only appeared in the paper. Did RBS staff forge court documents? Whistleblower accuses them of doctoring papers with Tipex and photocopiers. The Royal Bank of Scotland faked documents to win a legal battle, according to explosive whistleblower claims which have been branded troubling by a judge. A former senior bank employee has claimed in a sworn statement presented to a court that RBS forged documents which it used as evidence in a £14 million court case against a customer. According to the testimony of former RBS executive Mark Wright, information such as dates and figures were changed, while key documents were doctored by covering up sections with bits of paper and then photocopying them. In one instance, a whiteout tool for electronic documents similar to correcting fluid was used. He said such forgery, he claimed, was endemic at the bank, and he said staff were routinely trained in how to tamper with documents. Now, in a move which experts have said is highly unusual, one of England's most senior procedural judges has allowed the customer who sued RBS to replead their case, as they said aspects of Mr. Wright's evidence were troubling. RBS have denied any wrongdoing and insisted the court did not give credibility to the allegations. Last night, Sir Norman Lamb, chair of the NHS Maudsley Trust and banking campaigner, said, "We have to remember RBS is substantially publicly owned, which makes the allegations all the more shocking. The allegation is that there's been an extraordinary failure by the bank to properly disclose, which is central to the system of justice. RBS has previously been criticised by the banking watchdog for its treatment of customers in the wake of the banking crisis 10 years ago. After the financial crash, RBS, which survived after a £45 billion bailout by the taxpayer, set up the now infamous Global Restructuring Group, also known as GRG. GRG is alleged to have been used to squeeze small firms out of business, enabling the bank to acquire assets on the cheap, which could then be sold to recover debts. A Financial Conduct Authority investigation found that between 2008 and 2013, the GRG mistreated thousands of companies and a compensation scheme was set up. The current case relates to Jonathan Broomhead, a business owner from Derbyshire, who claimed the bank breached lending promises when his company came under control of RBS's GRG. Mr. Broomhead sued the bank for £13.8 million, but lost the case. In February this year, former RBS senior financial planner Mr. Wright submitted a witness statement alleging documents RBS used to win the case had been tampered with. Among a catalogue of concerning allegations, he said large gaps within the flow of text on RBS documents were unnatural. He claimed dates seemed to have been confused and accused RBS of copying and pasting text from old documents to create new files. Mr. Wright said sticky notes or pieces of paper were cut out with scissors and used in conjunction with a photocopier used to conceal text. He believed a whiteout electronic Tipex-style tool had been used to hide information. Mr. Wright said documents on one of the bank's other electronic systems, eFlex, which he only knows about because he worked there, have not been disclosed to the court. Last month, procedural judge Chief Master Marsh called Mr. Wright's whistleblower testimony troubling and said he would allow Mr. Broomhead to restart his case against RBS. The judge said the whistleblower provides cogent evidence about a number of matters that are directly material to the case. He added, the defendants, RBS, are correct to point out that in his conclusion, Mr. Wright says only that the court may have been misled by the defendants. Nevertheless, there are aspects of his evidence that are troubling. But he added that he felt the case fell a long way short of pleading a case of conscious and deliberate dishonesty, and emphasised that although he was allowing Mr. Broomhead to replead his claim, he was not encouraging him to do so. Last Friday, Mr. Broomhead's team submitted new claims against RBS, with many allegations based on information in Mr. Wright's submission. Sir Norman Lamb added, it's highly unusual for a court to conclude that a new action should be permitted. If the court decides in favour of the claimant in this fresh action, the consequences are incalculable. It opens the door to questioning whether a whole host of challenges have been unfairly crushed, but it raises the question also as to the scale of complicity within the bank. Steve Middleton of Bank Confidential said the landmark case calls into question the outcome of previous judgments in RBS's favour. An RBS spokesman said Mr. Broomhead's allegations are without any merit. The court did not give any credibility to his allegations of fraud against the bank, nor did it encourage him to replead his claim. The bank has already successfully struck out his original particulars and will seek to have the revised particulars struck out.